What's up guys, it's Tom here and I'm so excited to bring you another video of the brand new brilliant features of FC25 Career Mode. And the Career Mode is much changed. This is the biggest change that we have seen in the past 5 years of Career Mode, and in terms of tactics and team management, this is the biggest change in the last 10 years because the tactics have been completely changed and completely revamped. So we will talk about that a little bit later in this video. But if you enjoy this series of me breaking down all the brand new, very exciting features for FC25 Career Mode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here, because I post Career Mode content regularly, and on FC25 I will post daily, and it's going to be an absolutely great season. But first, the great news is that even the FC25 developers are welcoming the competition because there are new football games coming out. There are rumors that 2K will partner with FIFA and they will make a new FIFA game, and that will be of course still in development for a couple of years. But the FC25 lead gameplay producer Sam Rivera told IGN that we welcome competition. I think it's good for everyone to see what other football simulation engines can do. What I can tell you is that creating a deep simulation experience like a football simulation, it takes a long time. It takes many years of polishing, balancing, and all that doesn't just appear from scratch. You need to build it over the years. So what we have done over the last 15-20 years, we are very happy with our game and we will continue. And yes, they have done many good things. FC25 or 24 right now is still the best like football game out there, but there is so much room for improvement. First of all, we have additional information on Cranium. I already talked about this in the previous video, but Cranium uses machine learning to recreate the faces of players who haven't had a full face scan when developing the game. This means the generic faces of old should be gone, and this will be replaced by likenesses powered by AI. So even the generic faces won't look as generic, and they will look a lot more than how the players look in real life, and that adds another layer and another big bonus for immersiveness. I don't like generic faces overall on FIFA or FC24, so I really like this change. Cranium will also improve the character creator in pro clubs, that we should see its true power when lining up with less popular teams that may have had generic player faces in the past. And you know, I like developing not popular players, obscure players, so this will be a big bonus for my career modes as well. And we have now 160 countries that you can scout in on career mode in the Youth Academy. They added like 60 new countries, and there are only like 205 countries in the world, so that we are getting there of being able to scout in almost any country. Plenty of new countries and variations, and additionally up to 4 positions can now be scouted simultaneously with the ability to look for different types of players within the selected position. This upgrade expands your scouting reach, allowing you to focus on who you are looking for based on the way you set up your team and the tactical preset you are using. If you want to play with a sweeper keeper, you can look for specifically a sweeper keeper player role in terms of scouting. And what I absolutely love is that EA has taken a leaf out of the modding community, even though they officially don't endorse modding because they don't like it, but they now added a lot more customization. And finally, we can disable the board objectives, which got more and more silly every year. And sometimes, I had a Roma career mode, for example, on FIFA 23 with one of my best friends. We got sacked in the second season when we were in second place in the Serie A, 1 point off top spot. We were in the cup final of the Italian Cup. We got knocked out from the Champions League by Real Madrid, but because we didn't complete the board objective of getting to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, we got sacked, which was absolutely silly because we won the Coppa Italia in the first season. Never mind, now you can actually turn off the board objectives or the board rating, so you will never get sacked. You can also, of course, do a transfer embargo, or you can also trigger realistic negotiations or like smooth renegotiations. The negotiation strictness can be set to strict or lenient or normal. You can actually turn off scouting, and that doesn't mean that they just gray out that menu. That menu gets completely removed. So this is great for casual players. Of course, I'm not a casual player, I'm a die-hard, hardcore career mode player, so I will probably not turn off any setting apart from the board objectives, because those are silly and I never want to get sagged from any club. So if I want to move a club, then I will just leave them. Also, you can set different scouting speeds for star players, which is really, really nice. If you are going to do a road to glory with the League 2 club, you can set it to fast if you want to develop star players fast, or you can set it to slow, which means that it will be even harder to find Youth Academy gems. And I think that's kind of realistic. You can even set the scouting speed for general players as well. The gameplay type, you can set it to arcade or simulation. So if you just want to have a really zippy experience playing arcade football, you can set it to that as well. But if you want a more realistic feel of how football is in real life, you can set the gameplay to simulation. And now the dynamic weather will be much more prominent and much more influential. It will affect the movement of your players and the movement of the ball. And you can even set the weather effects to on or off. The level of detail you can modify is extensive, like how weather will impact play or how opposing CPU AI behaves on a moment-to-moment basis. There are lots of new sliders as well, so you can tweak the sliders to every little detail, not just pass speed and shot speed, but pass frequency and shots frequency will be in among the sliders as well. The AI behavior can also be set to dynamic, which means that the AI thinks on a moment-to-moment basis, so it will change and it will alter your career mode experience. What that means is that if you play Liverpool or Man City as another team, if you set it to normal, then they will use the same tactics almost every time, like high pressing, very aggressive. But if you set it to dynamic, every single time you come up against a team, they will use different tactics. And also they will alter their tactics based on what kind of tactics you used in your previous games. So the AI will adapt to what you are doing in the league. And if you want a fresh new experience every time you play a game of FIFA or a game of FC 25, you just set it to dynamic and the AI will change its behavior every time you play, so it doesn't get repetitive. I think if you play in a league like in the Premier League, where there are lots of different teams with different tactics, you can set it to normal. But if you are playing in a league like the Austrian Bundesliga or the Romanian League or the Scandinavian League, I'm not sure if there are many different teams with many different tactics. So if you just set it to dynamic, then the teams will alter their tactics from game to game, and it will always have a fresh experience. The morale system has been refined, so you need to find the sweet spot for player happiness. The days are gone when higher morale always means better performance. Now, if a player's morale is perfect, they can become complacent, affecting their mental attributes negatively. This change introduces a strategic layer to managing player morale, requiring a balanced approach to keep your squad in top mental shape. And also the menus are brand new, which I really like, and the corner kick support have been added to FC 25. So now the normal settings are there, but you need to select a target player for each of your corners, and you can select a player to stand on the near post and on the far post of your corners. So that means that you can select your best two players in the air. And of course the target player is for only attacking corners, but for defensive and attacking corners you select your near post and far post corner kick instruction. And in this screen you can see Van Dijk will be on the near post on attacking and defensive corners, and Konate will be on the back post, on the far post. So here you can see how it looks in game for an attacking corner, and here it is how it looks in game for a defensive corner, which I think is very, very interesting and a very good new addition as well. And finally, there will be a women's career mode. Of course, there are only like 5 leagues in women's football fleshed out completely, and the Champions League, but I might do actually a Liverpool career mode on the women's career mode, because Liverpool have a pretty like low rated women's team in the women's Premier League in England, so it would be a good challenge to build them up and to actually try and win the Premier League with Liverpool on women's football. And what I really like is they completely revamped the financial model for women's football, so it will reflect the tighter budgets, the shorter contracts, and the different salary structures that are often used in women's football. And hopefully that means that they revamped the prices. Hopefully there will be a toggle where you can set more realistic prices in the men's career mode. And what I like is also the men's and women's career mode will run parallel in the same world. So you can, in theory, start managing men's career mode team, and then you can move to a women's career mode team later on in that career, which I think is very, very interesting as well. The bench sizes are now increased to 9 players, but I also would like more realism in that in the Champions League, in the Europa League, in the Conference League, there are 12 or 15 players who can sit on the bench. I can't remember exactly, but more than 9. So they should introduce that as well. And in the Serie A, there are like 20 players on the bench or something crazy like that, or 15 players on the bench. I'm not sure if I like the addition that you can use icons in player career mode, but it of course satisfies some people, because you can maybe relive the career of Ronaldo, the Brazilian R9 Ronaldo. That is the one career mode that I would maybe love to do. Because the others, or Zinedine Zidane, who was also one of my idols growing up, but R9 Ronaldo is definitely a player career that could be very interesting. And there will be more information revealed on FC25 career mode in the upcoming deep dives. The career mode deep dive will be in August, as you can see, but in July you will be able to get more deep dives from EA on gameplay, on the Rush game mode, on Pro Clubs, and in August you will get Ultimate Team and Career Mode. And now let's talk about FC IQ, which I think I will go even more in depth in the next video, but the overhaul of tactical foundations across the game delivers greater strategic control and more realistic collective movement at the team level. A new AI model powered by real-world data influences player tactics through all new player roles. So the career mode tactics are completely new, completely revamped for the first time in 10 years. Thank you, EA, for finally listening to the community. So what are player roles? Let's talk about that first. Player roles will guide the way players think and behave on the pitch, and they are powered by real-world data and proprietary AI. The aim is to have more tactical intelligence and movement off the ball, meaning every decision you make as the manager will be visible during matches, and it helps your team's performance overall. There is a brand new screen in the tactics menu where you can view every player's role. If you think of it as play styles are when players are on the ball, roles are for when they are off the ball. Some players have a couple of different player roles, so you can choose between them to give even more control. But that's the thing, if you sign a player who doesn't have that specific player role that suits your tactic, you need to train them to play in that player role. For example, if Rodri, who is an out-and-out defensive midfielder, he can play okay as a box-to-box midfielder and maybe even worse as an attacking midfielder, but you can train him to be a more box-to-box midfielder if you already have a better defensive midfielder or as good a defensive midfielder and you want him to be a more box-to-box. And the guy who wrote this article said, "We watched some footage where left-backs had the attacking wing-back role, which saw them move further up the pitch. A central midfielder who had the half-winger role, we saw him cut out wide, and a center attacking midfielder make use of the shadow striker role, cutting in behind the center forward. On top of these roles, each one can be assigned a focus, such as making the role more roaming focused or attack based. There's an activity map where you can see whereabouts on the pitch. Your decisions regarding roles and focus will take the player along with positioning for when these players will both have the ball and be off the ball. Finally, you will also see what familiarity a player will have with your chosen role to see if the tactic is going to work for your team or not. So this is very, very interesting. This example that a central midfielder can have a player role of half winger, which means that he will drift out wide and provide support on the wings. And that would be great if you have a fullback who is an inverted fullback, like Cranium plays for Liverpool. Then you need another player on the wing. You have a winger, but then you can say your central midfielder will go out to play as a half winger sometimes, and Cranium can come into midfield as an inverted fullback, a halfback as they call it. That's what the inverted fullback player role is called on FC25. But I also like this, that an attacking midfielder who has great shooting, you can assign him a role of shadow striker, which means that he will go and play right off the striker, just behind him, and he will arrive in the box. Like Steven Gerrard in his prime was great in this. So I really, really like that you can get these specific player roles, trained on these players, depending on what kind of stats they have, of course. The new layout for team tactics also make them more approachable for players who might not be familiar with these systems. Presets let you set your team up quickly, and they are inspired by real-life clubs' signature styles and managers. And in these presets, you can also set up player roles as well. The settings have also been streamlined and shortened down to 3 core focuses: formation, defensive approach, and build-up style. Another cool feature is the summary, where you get constant feedback from your tactics, which analyzes your team and player roles, along with the different areas of play, such as attacking, endurance, width, and defending. What I absolutely love is that you can set your team up in a formation when they have the ball and when they don't have the ball. So an attacking formation and a player and a different formation when you defend. So in theory, you could have an attacking formation where you are playing with a 4-3-3 formation, but then defensively you are a 4-5-1 formation, because only your striker will stay forward and everybody else will come back to defend. So I really like these new player roles and these new team tactics. So we will get more in depth in the next video about these. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Goodbye.